That's ridiculous.
Why?
Because
is it Dylan? He can't throw the ball downfield.
Well,
he can't throw the ball.
Does he not see the guys down the field? That's one
and
thing.
He has seen.
Jeff, I watched
he has seen players down the field his entire college career playing behind 6'5", 6'6" offensive linemen. I don't want to hear he can't see because
Jeff,
the guy was a Heisman finalist by throwing the ball downfield and seeing.
It's just about height.
The leaked Dylan Gabriel interview hit the internet like a blindside sack, and it sent the NFL community into absolute shock. Nobody expected a routine post-practice conversation to turn into the most uncomfortable exchange of the season, but that's exactly what happened. The clip shows Gabriel sitting in front of the mic, calm at first, answering basic questions about preparation and adjustments. Everything seemed normal, until one reporter fired off a question that flipped the entire tone instantly. Without warning, the reporter compared Gabriel's current struggles to Shedeur Sanders' rising momentum, asking whether he felt overshadowed, underutilized, or straight up left behind in the quarterback conversation. And the moment those words hit the air, everything changed. Gabriel's expression went cold, the energy in the room tightened, and what followed became one of the most explosive back and forths fans had seen all season.
Dylan Gabriel started getting first-team reps immediately after he was drafted. The team, Kevin Stefanski, the coaching staff, they said, this guy's ready for that. He's advanced. He understands the terminology. He understands how the offense operates. He's done this. He gets first-team reps. He's ready to go. We're confident enough in him to trade Kenny Pickett and make him the backup quarterback. We're confident enough to make him the starter, and then we'll trade Joe Flacco and just get him out of here anyway, because we're confident in what Dylan Gabriel can do. He had all summer, all training camp, all preseason as that, the rookie that was taking first team reps. And after 4 games, it's clearly obvious he is not.
What made the clip go viral wasn't just the reporter's question. It was the way Gabriel reacted. He didn't snap, but he pushed back sharply. He questioned the fairness of the comparison. He challenged the premise. He made it clear that he wasn't here to play sidekick to Shedeur Sanders or any other rookie quarterback in the league. His voice didn't rise, but the frustration in his tone was unmistakable. Analysts said they could hear the tension of weeks building up, pressure boiling underneath the surface. And the reporter didn't back off. Instead, they doubled down. They questioned Gabriel's decision-making, asked whether he understood his shrinking role, and even suggested the team might be moving towards Shedeur as the clear QB1 of the future. The room went silent. Gabriel leaned forward, and the moment he said, "I'm not here to validate someone else's narrative," the clip instantly became internet fuel. Fans across the league started replaying the exchange, breaking down his tone, his posture, his eyes, everything. Some called him confident, refusing to be disrespected. Others said he looked rattled, exposed, and overwhelmed by the pressure surrounding the Browns' quarterback situation. But one thing everyone agreed on: this wasn't just another interview. This was a boiling point. NFL reaction came fast. Former quarterbacks commented live on social media. Analysts posted hour-long breakdowns. Fans created memes comparing Gabriel's frustration to Shedeur's rising influence inside Cleveland's locker room. And everyone could sense the shift.
That the Browns media is done with this whole Dylan Gabriel thing, and everything is looking suspect with them and this whole Shedeur thing, because it looked like there was definitely a planned attack on Shedeur character and performance on the football field, set in stone by people that work in Cleveland media. People can say what they want. I'm holding true and definitely believing that there was a conspiracy to depict Shedeur playing ability to be a certain way.
What if I told you the Browns, already under heavy scrutiny for how they handled Shedeur Sanders' debut, now had a new storm forming? And this one centered around communication, identity, and the psychology of quarterback competition. What the league saw in that interview wasn't just a young quarterback getting pressed. It was a young quarterback fighting for relevance, respect, and his future in an organization that suddenly seems to be orbiting around Shedeur Sanders.
The media know that.
No, they don't.
The media ain't play.
The
media know damn well Dylan Gabriel got 4 games. You going to London, you facing a tough-ass defense. You got to go to Pittsburgh, they cracking right now. They done found themselves. You got to go to New England. That's a tough-ass defense.
They're playing good.
You know what I'm saying? They playing good, too. If Dylan Gabriel, the media know, if Dylan Gabriel go 0-4, hey, guess what we got, y'all? Shedeur next. They never going back to Flacco. The media know damn well they not. It don't matter who the two.
And that tension is what turned a simple quanda into the most dramatic NFL media moment of the year. Once the clip spread everywhere, NFL studios spent entire segments analyzing the fallout. Not just what Gabriel said, but what he didn't say. Analysts pointed out the micro-expressions, the pauses before answering, the defensive tone, and the frustration beneath his composure. They broke down how he shifted in his chair, how he kept adjusting his shoulders, and how his silence after certain questions said more than his actual responses. What fans saw was a quarterback who felt cornered, and the media saw a quarterback who felt marginalized. And when Shedur's name came up in the interview, something Gabriel didn't bring up himself, the tension became impossible to ignore. The Browns quarterback room has been swirling with conversations ever since Shedur's viral comments about not getting first-team reps. Those comments changed the entire narrative of the franchise. They exposed preparation issues, they exposed structural problems, they exposed something deeper, a young leader with a voice strong enough to shake the organization. And when a quarterback like that enters the building, every other quarterback feels the shift. The hierarchy, the rhythm, the expectations, everything changes. Gabriel has always been known for his skill, intelligence, and consistency. But now, for the first time, he's facing a narrative he didn't create and cannot control. Shedur's rise isn't just a storyline. It's a movement, a momentum, a gravitational force pulling the franchise into a new direction. And when the reporter pressed Gabriel about whether he felt overshadowed, he didn't deny it outright. He danced around it, tried to redirect, then finally admitted frustration about the comparisons that don't reflect real preparation or real situations.
Speeding ticket, right? It was a speeding ticket. Granted, was he going fast? Yeah, he was going fast. But the fact of the matter is, they blew it out of proportion. Myles Garrett, like 2 weeks later, ended up getting a speeding ticket too. But you didn't see it reach the heights that Shedeur did. You didn't see multiple upon multiple videos coming out from these Cleveland media people talking about Shedeur talking about Myles Garrett getting that speeding ticket. But it's things like that that played out to me during the offseason that tried that.
Done with Dylan Gabriel. After another ugly offensive showing, reporters are saying what fans have been screaming for weeks, it's time for Shedeur Sanders. This is bad, man. When the media is done with Dylan Gabriel and they making jokes and they talking about they cussing at the TV and the kids don't repeat what they say, this is bad. Even that hot air balloon they saying Dylan Gabriel threw up, man, he been overthrowing receivers since training camp. It's ridiculous. He missed Jerry Jeudy wide open in training camp.
Fans took that as confirmation. The QB competition isn't just on the field, it's psychological. The NFL community immediately took sides. Half of social media argued that comparing Gabriel and Shedeur is unfair, considering they're at different points in their transition to the NFL. The other half argued that competition is the nature of the league, and if Gabriel felt uncomfortable, that meant Shedeur's presence was already impacting the locker room. The wildest part, even players around the league chimed in. Some said the reporter crossed a line. Others said Gabriel needs thicker skin. But everyone agreed the interview wasn't handled with the professionalism typically seen in post-practice settings. And this is where the scandal truly formed. Not from what Gabriel said, but from how exposed, alone, and unprotected he looked in that moment. To fans, it felt like the Browns failed 2 quarterbacks in the same season.
You wanted to draft Dylan Gabriel, and this is what he's putting out there on the field for you. Because it was very, very clear who liked Dylan Gabriel. It's come out in reports that Kevin Stefanski liked Dylan Gabriel. He processes his offense well. He expected the offense to take the next step with Dylan Gabriel in there. It's his guy. This offense has been putrid, absolutely putrid. Checkdowns, missing a ton of reads, underthrown balls. Every time he looks like he's trying to throw the ball deep, he puts all of his effort into it and it goes maybe 20 yards.
First by underpreparing Shedeur, then by leaving Gabriel hung out to dry in front of aggressive questioning. The controversy now wasn't just about a clip, it was about how the team is handling its future, its communication, and its public messaging. And the interview was only the beginning. As reaction videos multiplied online, a new narrative emerged. The idea that the reporter destroyed Gabriel by forcing him to reveal emotions he didn't intend to show. Viewers replayed the toughest moments of the exchange, especially the part where the reporter asked, "Do you think this organization sees Shedeur as its long-term plan more than you?"
I'm already not annoyed if that's not clear. Because we know what we have in Dylan Gabriel now. I've said it since the start what we had in Dylan Gabriel. He's shown it on the field. He's a career backup, and that's what it's going to be. At least let Shedeur Sanders get out there. Let's see what we have in him, because there's a real chance that he could show something. But at the end of the day, we need to see something before we get to the draft next year. I'm not
The room froze when that question dropped. Gabriel blinked slowly, stared down for a moment, then gave a tight-voiced answer about controlling what he can control. But fans said his face betrayed the truth, that the question hit deeper than he expected. And that's where the real storyline begins. Because even though Shedeur Sanders wasn't in the building, his presence dominated the room anyway. That's the effect he's having, an invisible pressure shifting conversations, shaping narratives, and forcing every quarterback on the roster to reevaluate their standing. Gabriel didn't ask for this drama, but the NFL doesn't care about fairness. It cares about performance, potential, and momentum. Analysts pointed out that Gabriel's frustration likely comes from feeling misunderstood. He's a proven competitor with years of experience, yet the narrative has turned him into a subplot in the Shedeur Sanders show. And when a reporter pressed him on whether he felt overlooked, the irritation in his voice said everything. But this wasn't just about Gabriel's emotions. It was about the Browns' quarterback crisis entering a new chapter. Fans and commentators highlighted how the organization now has two rising stars, one fighting to prove himself, the other rapidly becoming the face of the franchise. And that tension is enough to create instability in any QB room. The leaked interview also raised questions about internal communication.
He knew it made no sense.
Okay, so wait.
There's no defending that kind of answer.
No, there isn't. So are you making the suggestion? Anyways, I don't even know. You might be dead on the money on this one. Okay, I want to flesh this thing out completely here. That Stefanski will play Dylan Gabriel, and if they at any point say you have to go to Shedeur, he'll just continue to say no and no and no, and you know the end result of that.
Yes,
he's asking to get fired.
Yes, or I think there's a lot
like mid-season he's asking to get fired. Either I play Dylan Gabriel and I'm not moving to Shedeur, and if you want me to move to Shedeur,
the reason why he's starting is because somewhere where he got drafted in the 3rd round, and he's supposed to be one of the quarterbacks where he's smart. He might not have the big arm, might not be a big quarterback because he's pretty small, but he's smart. This ain't smart. Where you going with this? He had a couple plays in this game where I was trying to figure out where's he going, because quarterbacks like him that might not be super talented, they be smart and they know where to go with the ball. Because like your argument is why we not playing Shedeur because of that, because he's smart and all that. But man, it's time to move on now. We seen him. Wow.
So you think it's time to move on already?
Like, what are we waiting on? They getting beat.
Why wasn't the interview controlled better? Why wasn't a PR representative present to manage the aggressive questioning? Why was Gabriel left to fend for himself in what should have been a standard interview session? These questions hinted at something bigger. The Browns may be struggling to manage their media strategy during one of the most sensitive transitions in franchise history. Because while Shedeur has become a lightning rod for attention, Gabriel has been forced to answer questions about a narrative that isn't even his. That's the unfairness fans pointed out. That's the tension the team now has to handle. And when the interviewer pushed Gabriel about Shedeur's viral leadership moment, the clip reached a breaking point. Gabriel didn't insult anyone, he didn't lash out, but the tightness in his answers, the controlled frustration, the emotional weariness, it all painted a picture deeper than words. This wasn't just a bad interview, it was a quarterback revealing the emotional cost of living in someone else's spotlight, and the NFL reacted accordingly. By the next morning, sports networks were calling it the most explosive quarterback interview of the season. Gabriel's name trended nationwide. The Browns trended too, for all the wrong reasons. Analysts from every major network weighed in, breaking down the clip frame by frame. And while opinions varied, one theme dominated. The Browns have a communication crisis on their hands. Former players said the interview was a textbook example of a franchise not protecting its quarterbacks. They argued that no young player should ever be put in a situation where they're blindsided with questions about being overshadowed by a teammate, especially a teammate as heavily spotlighted as Shedeur Sanders.
Starting quarterback, and shame on Andrew Berry for using a top 100 pick on this kid. Shame on the Cleveland Browns for wasting our time, wasting players' time in the offseason, giving this dude first team reps and acting like he's a legitimate starter.
Dylan Gabriel is a limited player at the quarterback position. He puts a ceiling on whatever your offense is capable of doing. Not that the offense was lighting it up with Joe Flacco as the quarterback, but it's gotten worse with Dylan Gabriel as your guy. And at some point, you have to move on just for change's sake, if for no other reason, to give hope to the other 52 guys in the locker room that maybe something can change, maybe we can find a way to...
Other analysts argued the reporter was simply doing their job. quarterbacks faced tough questions, and Gabriel needed to show composure. But even those analysts admitted the questioning was unusually targeted, unusually aggressive, and unusually personal. Fans didn't hold back. They flooded comment sections, calling the interview disrespectful and unprofessional. They demanded Gabriel be given space to grow without being constantly compared to Shedeur. But at the same time, many fans acknowledged the truth. Shedeur is the center of the Browns' future conversation, and that reality is putting pressure on everyone around him. The interview also raised questions about Cleveland's long-term plan. If the Browns selected Shedeur Sanders to be the eventual QB1, why aren't they handling the transition with more care? Why are both quarterbacks being thrown into media firestorms? Why is the narrative being left to reporters and social media rather than guided by the organization? Behind the scenes, insiders claim the Browns were caught off guard by how fast Shedeur's spotlight grew. What was expected to be a gradual transition turned into a national conversation overnight, especially after Shedeur's own viral press conference. Now the team finds itself juggling expectations, narratives, and emotions, all while trying to maintain locker room unity. Gabriel, unfortunately, became collateral damage in that transition. Fans expressed sympathy for him, calling him a victim of timing and narrative. They recognized his frustration as legitimate and understandable. He wasn't complaining about reps. He wasn't complaining about coaching. He was frustrated about being dragged into a media rivalry he never signed up for. And yet some fans took a different stance, arguing that the interview revealed a competitive fire that might push Gabriel to elevate his game. They said the pressure could sharpen him, harden him, and turn him into a stronger presence in the quarterback room. No matter the interpretation, the interview became a defining moment. It exposed the Browns' media handling issues, it revealed Gabriel's emotional boiling point, and it magnified Shedeur Sanders' growing influence, even when he wasn't present. This wasn't just a scandal, it was a warning. As the days passed, the narrative continued evolving.
Interceptions in yesterday's game, I was watching, I think it was Rex Ryan on TV, and he was breaking down those interceptions. They all came from when the defense decided to clog the middle with a center blitz, blocking the line of vision for a shorter quarterback. This has been my whole point with Dylan Gabriel. You cannot name me a quarterback his size of recent that has been successful. These defensive linemen are 6'7", 6'8".
Reporters who were present at the interview began releasing their own statements, explaining the context of the moment. Some defended the line of questioning, saying Gabriel needed to address the quarterback competition directly. New angles emerged as people rewatched the clip. Fans noticed how Gabriel repeatedly referenced in-house conversations, indicating that internally, the QB room has been discussing Shedeur's rise for weeks. Fans also caught his subtle comments about different expectations for different quarterbacks, sparking rumors about favoritism within the organization. While those claims remain speculation, the internet quickly turned them into debate material. Meanwhile, analysts compared Gabriel's situation to other quarterbacks who found themselves overshadowed by rising stars. Examples like Alex Smith during Patrick Mahomes' rookie year, Drew Bledsoe giving way to Tom Brady, and Tyrod Taylor losing his job to rookie momentum were all mentioned in discussions. The pattern was clear. When a franchise finds that guy, everything around him shifts, sometimes before the team even announces it publicly. Fans began asking whether the Browns were already leaning toward Shedeur Sanders as the future, and whether Gabriel knew it. His reactions in the interview suggested he felt the shift. His tone, especially when he said, "I know what I bring to the table," sounded like a quarterback fighting to prove he still belongs in the conversation. By the end of the week, the league finally settled into one collective conclusion. The Dylan Gabriel interview wasn't just a viral moment. It was a turning point in Cleveland's quarterback storyline. Shedeur Sanders' presence, influence, confidence, and rising leadership had already reshaped the franchise's identity. Now, with Gabriel visibly feeling the pressure, the narrative became impossible to ignore. Inside the Browns building, insiders said meetings intensified. Coaches discussed how to handle media going forward. Quarterbacks reportedly received more guidance on how to navigate difficult questions. Team leaders spoke privately with Gabriel to offer support and reassure him of his importance to the roster. And some even said Shedeur himself reached out to calm the situation, though those reports remain unconfirmed. On the outside, fans could see the shift. The Browns were suddenly more careful with public statements, more measured with commentary, and more protective of their players. The leaked interview forced them to confront the reality that quarterback controversy doesn't just affect performance. It affects morale, chemistry, and the emotional stability of the roster. For Gabriel, the interview served as both a challenge and a wake-up call. He now knows the spotlight is harsher, the expectations are tighter, and the comparisons are unavoidable. But he also knows the league is watching him with new eyes. Some see him as a quarterback under pressure. Others see him as a competitor fueled by adversity. Either way, the interview gave him something to prove. And players who have something to prove often return stronger. For Shedeur Sanders, the interview added fuel to his rising narrative. Even without speaking, even without being present, his influence shaped the room. That's the kind of presence only future franchise quarterbacks possess. And for the Browns, the path forward is clear. They must manage this situation carefully, communicate openly, and protect both quarterbacks from unnecessary media traps. Because the talent is there, the potential is there, the future is bright, but only if they handle the present with precision. In the end, the Dylan Gabriel interview didn't destroy his reputation. It revealed the human side of competition. It exposed the emotional cost of quarterback battles. It showed how pressure can uncover insecurities, pride, passion, and drive all at the same time. The league reacted because the moment wasn't fake. It wasn't scripted. It was raw. It was real. It was vulnerable. And moments like that don't disappear. They become part of NFL history. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep dive NFL analysis, quarterback drama, and sports storytelling.